Lesson 0-6, the percent proportion. First section of the problem, express each percent as fraction or mixed number in simplest form. 5%, which means that this is as fractions, which means 5 over 100. So when you get 5 over 100 and you simplify it, so 5 over 100, because in percent, you simplify by 5, you will have this as 1 over 20. And then 60%, you do the same thing, 60 over 100, and you simplify this to get to the answer by yourself. 11%, which means you have 11 over 100. I think that already is in simplest form. 120%, 120%. So this is a mixed or mixed number. So it seems like this is the mixed number. You have 1 because normally it is over 100 for percent. So 120 over percent over 100. Then you have 1 in the front, and you still have 20 over 100 to work on. So you simplify this number. Let me give you this part for you. 1, and then 20, if you simplify by 20, that will give you 1 over 5. So for this section, 120% is equal to fraction or mixed number 1 and 1 over 5. 78%, 78 over 100, and you simplify it. 2.5%, you have 2.5 over 100, and you simplify this. Now, if you do not know how to simplify with decimal and whole number, you move decimal one place. You can put just 25. This one will be over 1000. Now from that, I think you can already simplify by 5 and you get to the simplest answer. And then if you continue to 0.6, you do the same thing with this number 2.5. You put just put 6. No, just put 0.6 and 0.6 over 100, and then you will put just 6 over 1000 because you move one decimal to this side, and you add one more 0, 200 also. So after that, you simplify to get to the simplest answer. For number 8, you do the same thing. You put 0.4 over 100. So it is over 100 because it is a percent, and then you move one decimal place. You become 4 over 1000. So that after that you simplify to the simplest form. And 1400%. So you put 1400 over 100 because it is percent. And to simplify this, you divide it. You will have as 1 as 14. That's the simplest form you have from this section. From all of this, how about 0.4 when you simplify it by 100? That will give you a 1 over 200. This part gives you 1 over 250. I will give you this part. You can do the rest with this number. Simplify by yourself. Now, from number 10 all the way through to number 23. Okay, for this section, use the percent proportion to find each number. Now, let's look at the formula first for us to solve all of this problem. A over B is equal to P over 100. P is the percent. A is a number which is part of B. B is a whole number. B is all of the number, everything. And A is part of that everything. Look at number 10. And you also can, for my way of doing the problem, I noticed the one down here is get along with the word off, When you see off, which means down, for example, number 10 off 125, so 125 down here. This one somehow it go with the word is, That's how I do the problem so that I will not get confused, and you also, you can use this rule also to have you do the problem so that you will not confuse A and B. So once you confuse A and B, it will lead to the wrong answer. So let's stay focused with me and using this this way is the numerator and off for the denominator. Let's apply that for this number. Okay, the question what percent? So percent is missing. Find percent. So then you will have 125 down here because of the word off. 125 down and 25 is up is equal to p percent missing over 100. After you have this, you just do the cross product. 25 times with 100, and then you divide with 125. That will give you a 20%. And then 16 is what percent? Okay, what percent again? Off. So it seems like that the 40 down here because the word off, and 16 up here is equal to p over 100. You can just simply using 16 divided by 40, and then you times with 100. That will give you a 40%. Number 12. The number is missing, and which number is it? The off number is missing. Off. So the denominator is missing. So you have question mark down here, and then you have 14 up, and this is equal to p percent, which is in this case 20 for number 12. 20 over 100. So 20 divide 14 times with 100, and then divides by 20. That will give you a 70 as a number. Number 13. Of what number? Okay, off is missing, so off is down here, question mark. Is 80 is up here, and then percent given 50%. Well, I think it's gonna give you 160. Well, let's just do the work. 80 times with 100, then you 80 times with 100, and then you divide this by 50. That will give you a 160 as a number. 160. This one, what number is 25 off? Okay, so now the off is down here, the what number is up here. That's what the number is missing. 25 over 100. So it seems like you have 18 times with 25, and you divide this by 100. That will give you a 4.5 as a number. Now if you move further to number 15, find 10% of 95. Okay, so you have 95 down here because off 95, so off is down, is equal to p percent, which is 10 over 100. 95, you have 95 times by 10 divide 100. That will give you 9.5. Or you just simply 95 times 105. Now, what percent missing? Off is down, off is up. Oh, sorry, off is down, is up. So you have 30 up here, 48 down for number 16 is equal to p over 100. When you write like this, just do the cross product. 30 times 100 divided by 48. That will give you percent. 30 times 100, and then you divide by 48. That will give you 62.5%. The rest of the problem, you do the same thing. You know, what percent is 150. Okay, this one I think you might confuse with the percent because it's bigger than 100, but the same idea. Off is 32, is missing. 150% over 100. So you have 32 times 150, and then you divide by 100. That will give you 48. You might ask me why the part of the number bigger than the everything, the number is everything, because this is 150% of the original number. That's why bigger than the original one, than the everything number. Now for number 18, 5% of this should be of, not if. 5% of what number is 3.5? So it seems like the of is missing, so it look this way. Of missing, the is 3.5, and percent is 5 over 100. When you have this, you just do the cross product, 3.5 times 100 divided by 5, that will give you to the final answer. You do the rest the same idea. They are in percent proportion. Find percent, find the number which belong to the B section, and also find the number which belong to the A section. So I believe I will show you enough example for you to do the other problems. Lesson 0-7 perimeter. Looking at the problems right here, find the perimeter of each figure. The word perimeter, which means the distance around the figure, distance around it, from this side all the way through this side. So distance around it. If you do not know the formula of finding the perimeter of square or rectangle, you just simply add all the side length together, because the word perimeter is the length of around the figure. So you can put 6 because this is equal, so 6, 6, 6 and 6. So which means that you have 6 4 times, 6 times 4, or you can 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. That will give you a 24 meter. This is the perimeter of the square. The rectangle, 8 plus 8 plus 13 plus 13. Or you can just say 8 plus 13 and then you times 2. So either way, there's a formula for us because we have a 2 width and 2 length. So width plus the length and you times 2, you will get the perimeter of a rectangle. Or just put 8 times 2 plus 13 times 2, you give you the same answer also, which is equal to 42 kilometer. How about this one? I think this will give you a 12 inch as well. This is an 8 inch. So same idea, 12 plus 18 plus 12 plus 18. So 12 times 2 plus 18 times 2, that will give you is 60. This is as an inch, 60 inches. For the triangle, 12 plus 9 plus 15, the distance around the figure. 9 plus 12 plus 15, that will give you 36. This is as in feet. A quarter circle with a radius of 4 inches. Okay, same instruction, finding the perimeter, or other words, the distance around the figure. This is a quarter of circle. Let me draw it for you. You have a whole circle, and you divide by 4, then you have a quarter of it. So you want to, let's say, bring this one out, then you have a piece like this. That we call a quarter of circle, this section. With the radius of 7 inch, you have 7 inch, 7 inch. Now, by formula, the circumference of circle, you have 2 pi r. C is equal to 2 pi r in this case, or d pi. But let's work on this one. Simply give us the radius. So 2 pi r, this is the circumference. Our first goal right now is to find this length right here. Now once you find the length right here, you can just plus 7, and you can find all the distance around this figure. So 2 pi r. So to find a whole circle is 2 pi r square. So you have 2 times pi, which is 3.14, just using pi value, and then times with r, which is 7 in this case. And then once you find the answer, you need to divide by 4, because this number will give you a whole circle. But if you want to find each of this section, because a quarter, so 1/4, so each of this section you need to divide by 4, because all distance around this will give you this solving by this formula. But now you need to find a portion of the a quarter of a circle, so you need to divide by 4. So once you find the formula, 2 times pi times 7, and then you divide that by 4, that will give you approximately about 11. So this is 11. And after that, when you get 11, so the idea of perimeter, the distance around the figure plus together. So you have 7 plus 11 plus 7. So you have this as 25. This is as in inches. So you have 25 inches. Now, circumference of the circle, number 6 and number 7. The formula already given to you a while ago, which is there's two ways to answer this question. C equal to 2 pi r, or C equal to d pi. It's around the nearest 10. So for this number 2 pi r, which means you have 2 times pi, 2 multiplied by pi, and then you multiply by r with the radius 4 in this case. After that, it's around to the nearest 10. So you make it to the nearest 10. Give you a 25.1. This is as in centimeter. This one you apply the formula number 2, which means the diameter and the pi. So you have 14 times with pi. After that, you round to the nearest 10. You have approximately about 44.0 as in feet. Let's move on. Number 8. A square garden has a side length 5.8 feet. What is the perimeter of the garden? Okay, to give you a picture first, for you to understand better within the problems. This is a square garden. You know what the word square is? All sides congruent. All sides are congruent. And then the side length is 5.8 feet. Asking for the perimeter, the distance around the figure. So 5.8 is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5.8 times 4. That will give you a perimeter of 23.2. This is as in feet. Number 9. This is a rectangular room which is 12.6 feet wide and 16 feet long. What is the perimeter? It's a rectangular shape, which means this side congruent to this side and this congruent to this one. By the problem, they give this one as 12.6 feet and the length, which is 16 feet. So find the perimeter, the distance around the figure, you have 16 plus 16 plus 12.2 of 12.6 plus 12.6, or just 16 times 2 plus 12.6 times 2. That will give you the 57.2. 57.2, this is as in feet. Number 10, a tire for a 10-speed bicycle has a diameter of 27 inches. Find the distance traveled in 10 rotations. You need to find the circumference first before you determine how far it travels in 10 rotations. So diameter. So formula pi rd. Circumference equal to not pi rd. So formula equal to d pi, diameter times pi. So diameter in this case 27. 27 multiplied by pi. That's the distance for one rotation. When the distance around it, which means for one rotation. So for one rotation all the way through will give you a 27 times pi. But this is 10. So when you get 27 times pi, that's for one. You need to find 10. You times by 10. Multiply by 10. And then you round to the nearest 10. that will give you a 848.2. This is as in inches. This is composite figure, the number 11 all the way through the number 14. Even though it is composite figure, but the idea stay the same. Perimeter, the distance around the figure. Distance around the figure, do not get lost on that. For number 11, I think many of us might get confused with this. You might add this one inside the perimeter as well. No, this is not. Remember, distance around the figure, you mean you're using this distance, this distance, this distance, and this distance, that the perimeter around the figure. This is 5.7, this is also 5.7. This 1.8, this is also 1.8. So to find distance around the figure, you will begin from this side. 5.7 plus 2.6 plus 5.7 plus 1.8 and plus again the last part 1.8. That will give you is 17.6. 17.6. This is as in centimeter. Okay, this is the same idea. You don't need the one down here. So the distance you have to work on. You need this distance, this curved half circle here, this distance, and this curved half circle here. So if you want to find a curve of half circle right here, it gives you a one full circle. So you need to find the perimeter of the circle or circumference of the circle, and then you add with 4 and 4. That will give you to the final answer. Now let's find the perimeter first of the circle. Why? Because you have half circle here and you have another half circle, so combine them, it gives you a full circle with the radius or with diameter 4. So let's find the perimeter of this figure together. So you have 4 times with pi, that give you 4 pi, and then you plus with 4 pi, which means this distance and this distance, and you lack 4 more and 4 more. So you need to plus 8, plus 4 right here, plus 4 right here, that give you an 8. So 4 times pi and you plus 8. So that you round to the nearest 10, that will give you 20.6. This is as in inches. For number 13, you need to find the distance of half of the circle, or half of the circumference of the circle with the diameter 6. Once you find this length, you add with 6 to get to a complete perimeter of the semicircle. Now let's get this section first. So 6, you have 6 times pi, that will give you a full circle, but you need only half of the circle. You divide by 2. After that, you plus with 6, which is the length down here. That will give you a 15.4 feet. This idea the same thing. You need to find the length of semicircle first with the radius 8, or with the diameter 8. When you get that, you plus with 6 and you plus with 10. That will give you a complete answer for the perimeter of the figure. Let's get this one first. So you have 8 times with pi. That will give you an 8 pi. That's the length for a whole circle, but you need only half of the circle, so you divide by 2. So when you divide by 2, you plus with 6, and then you plus with 10, and you round it to the nearest 10. That will give you a 28.6. This is as in meters.